back. Thank you very much for staying tuned with us at KGUR radio station. Can we hear you? Testing,
Oh,
testing.
yes.
Oh, wonderful. Sorry. I wasn't watching the time because I love hearing you talk, so I wasn't able to prepare for the intermission.
Oh,
Yeah,
no. Is that
just
what that was supposed to be?
yeah, that was it. You're just so charismatic that we caught up, got carried away. Yeah, so I actually had everything prepared for the intermission, but I just didn't want to interrupt you because I like to hear what you have to say.
Oh, that's so kind. I definitely have the gift of gab, so feel free to, tell me to zip it.
No, no, we like to hear you talk.
Tell me to
Um,
zip.
no, no, please keep telling us everything.
Now, how do I get your camera up there?
Oh well, I have to turn that back on. And we're doing the second part now. So for those tuning in again, thank you very much for the man, the myth, the legend, the man behind the music with KGUR radio station. My name is DJ Loch Nessie, and we are with Andrew Paul Woodworth. This is part two of the wonderful interview here at Cuesta College, and we are continuing with what we were originally talking about. But I like you're just again you're charismatic and you have
Oh,
this warm energy. And I
well, that's
really,
very sweet to say.
I admire it, and that's the energy that you exert when you're performing. You just it's this hint of misery and sadness that you've been describing so far, and it
Mhm.
is this also a subtle hint of, I guess how I'd say a longing that I've noticed, and this hope that things are gonna get better. For instance, that one song, Doctor, and then Patience. No, these two songs I like. I would listen to those on my own time. Patience is a very amazing song. I love that song. And
Hmm.
yeah,
God,
and so what?
so-
Patience, and Doctor. Tell me the
yeah.
story behind those two songs.
Well, Patience was actually a breakup song I wrote around the time I was with Emma, the girl I mentioned before from
Oh,
Buffy. Emma was really great um, to me. She's a good person.
oh, are you two on
I
good
just
terms?
kept, what's that?
Are you on good terms with Emma?
Yeah, but you know what? When you, despite being on good terms, you do have boundaries when you have broken up with somebody and you're with other people.
Mm,
It's oftentimes not appropriate to carry on a
right,
relationship with those people for fear of,
right.
uh, harming the one you're in. If Emma and I saw each other, we would hug each other and ask genuine questions about how we were doing.
Yeah.
I She was great, fantastic, very talented person, very, very beautiful. She just treated me really, really well. So the breakup was confusing because I couldn't be in the relationship, but you couldn't figure out exactly why. And so the patience of it was, how much longer do I drag this out?
Yeah.
Um, do I have to have more patience with this, or is it too much? Have I been too patient? And if I'm too patient with it, am I wasting time? I think that that's what that means. When does patience become a waste of time?
Yeah, no,
That's,
I can hear that now that I'm thinking about the lyrics.
have you had those experiences in your life?
I have. And that's why I listen to your music sometimes and I play it. It's because,
Yeah,
and all the DJs here, we love your music.
that's very
KGUR.
sweet.
We do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked for an interview. They were just like, I'm
Now, when you
asking for the
guys
interview, Nessie.
are listening to music, are you having keggers? Having these keggers?
Well, I mean, again, their mascot for is KGUR because of the cougar. But we don't like being called the
Seems like
cougars
keggers.
because that cougar radio sounds like old ladies.
Oh, right.
But I
Uh,
love mountain lions. They're majestic animals. They're pretty. Their eyes are pretty.
I mean, most animals are pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
What
so.
animal isn't?
Man, I could think of a couple ugly animals.
Tell me a couple animals that you think are not good looking or not pretty.
This is controversial, but I think pugs and pit bulls have a bad case of butterface.
You don't like that.
I don't like them. No, I don't.
Like a squish nut face?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like they look like
Like a
grumpy old.
squish nut face.
No, a pug looks like a grumpy old man. to me.
But it's cute, a cute grumpy old man, like an Ewok.
Yeah. Okay, well, like if I had a pug and I developed a bond with it, I'd eventually probably think that pugs are the greatest things in the world. You
You
know?
know what pugs were bred for?
What?
Entertainment for emperors in China. Because,
Emperors in China.
yeah, they're funny.
That's
Or
interesting.
Japan. It must be Japan.
So
I don't know where the
I
emperors
don't know
were.
how dog breeding works, but like I can imagine centuries ago. Some people say I guess pit bulls or there's a breed that's just inbred. They're dumb. Is that not pugs?
They freak me out. Pit bulls do.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
why?
Not
They
a
can
big.
lock their jaws.
Yeah, I'm scared of pit bulls.
Yeah.
I feel like huskies though are pretty scary.
Huskies.
Yeah, I've always wanted husky, but my cat um does not like dogs, and I love my cat a little bit too
You
much.
have a cat? I have a cat.
You have a cat. What's your cat's
Yeah.
name?
Yeah. My cat's name is Pure. I had two cats. Their names were Pure and Simple. And Simple unfortunately died a couple years ago, but Pure's 17. How about your cat? How do you have more than one cat?
I have one cat, and her name is Ferris.
Ferris?
Ferris Bueller, actually.
So
From
you're a big Ferris Bueller's Day Off fan?
Yes, I am. I
That's a
am.
great movie, isn't it?
It is a good movie. It is. I like that
And
movie.
you're young to know that movie. Is that your favorite movie of all time?
I would say that is one of my favorite movies of all time. I have a list of favorite movies. There's one that I just love to pull from, but uh, there's because I like to use sound clips of movies in my shows sometimes. But whenever I try to think about my favorite movie, I cannot remember for the life of me. I really,
Really?
nah, I can't remember.
And it's not Ferris Bueller's not your favorite movie?
I would say it's one of my favorite movies, but I like impactful cinematic movies. I like, Garden State's a good one.
Never
I
saw it.
You haven't seen it? You
No.
you got to see it now because
Okay.
you're gonna have to see it.
Okay. Garden State. What else?
I think there's this one movie called Life Less Ordinary, and I feel like that'll be a little bit up your alley. Just
Okay.
because it's a love story, but it's just very unique and the plot is just really weird. It has Ewan McGregor in it. But what's your favorite movie?
Ewan McGregor. My favorite movie is Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay. So you like the classics. The
Well,
classics.
exactly. I mean, I'm a big Quentin Tarantino fan.
You
Are
like
you?
Tarantino.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
His use of dialogue is great. His music.
Yeah, he's got a thing about blood, way too much blood. But I will say that Django Unchained is a good one, and
Oh,
another I really love by
Inglorious
Tarantino.
Bastards.
Yes, my mom loves that movie. It's so
Did you like
funny.
did you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Actually, I saw the beginning half of it. I can't remember exactly what happens in it, but I fell asleep.
Oh, that's not good.
I know. I was going to bed and I just needed the TV on and I started really liking this movie and I could not remember what it was, but I did remember that it was that one and I don't remember
Well,
what else in it.
I have a crazy story about Pulp Fiction.
Tell us.
I was filming a movie at the time when I went and saw it, called The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, which I had mentioned before. Okay, it was a TV movie with Kirk Cameron, who was a big star back in that day. And I was also about to get signed to this record deal. So my star was really rising. I was 24. And my friends and I drank a little bit too much, if I'm going to be honest with you. And we went and saw Pulp Fiction at the Century City movie theaters in LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where she has to get stabbed with an adrenaline shot in her heart because she's ODing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when that happened, I got very sort of disturbed and sick, and I thought I was going to throw up or pass out or something. And so I collected myself,
That is kind of gruesome. That's very.
and I was a little inebriated at the time. And so I shuffle out and I faint on the rug outside of the theater, and I collect
You
myself.
fainted?
I fainted, okay, and then I had
Wait.
my hair was long, and so I'm up and I've got cold sweats, and I'm throwing it out of my face. I'm like, I better go to the bathroom right now, or I'm gonna get arrested for being, indecent. And so I shuffle again to the bathroom, and I faint again on my face, and I knock these two teeth in half. I pass out on my teeth. I didn't even feel it. I only heard myself pass out. I heard myself hit the ground. And I wake up, I get up and I'm like in the mirror, I'm like, oh my God. And these two teeth are in half. I didn't bleed. I didn't bruise. So I dropped down to my knees. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta find my, I'm looking for little bits of teeth, but there's, so many little bits of popcorn on the ground that I'm confusing popcorn for teeth and I'm discarding and I'm throwing away. I find these bits of teeth. I go to my outside, I go get my buddy Dave, and I go, Dave. He's like, what? He thought I got punched in the face. So I had to go get more. We found all the teeth. You can't put pieces of teeth back in, turns out. So they had to cancel my filming on that Monday. I had to get emergency dental surgery. And now I have these veneers right here that come out once in a while. If I'm eating an apple,
You've
pulling,
lived a very, very like eventful life.
yeah,
You've
that was,
lived a bit of a tragic life. That's
I mean,
like
that was,
this is like this is actually a very like epic. Now,
that was
don't
epic.
quote me. It was epic. That's an epic story.
Yeah,
You are literally a man of just it's a wild card. You're a wild card.
sure. I
Yeah.
mean, stuff like that happens to me.
Really? Would
Yeah.
you say this kind of stuff happens to you a lot?
I
God,
mean,
when are you
I
gonna
just,
release a movie, a biopic about Andrew Paul Woodworth?
maybe you're right. I think at least four people will be into it.
No, people are
Both,
gonna be lining up out the door.
both of my friends would watch it.
No, I think all of us we tune in. We tune in.
Yep.
I mean, people are gonna be tuning into this. We actually got a couple, like a little bit more viewers than usual right now. I guess they just really love your beautiful voice.
That's sweet. That's very sweet. So yeah,
Oh,
that was my Pulp Fiction, and a testament to the movie. It's still my favorite movie of all time. I
really?
find it such a great work of art.
I feel there's those movies that provoke an emotion out of you that is like very like deep, and it gives an actual reaction, a physical reaction. You know
Mhm.
that
Oh, yeah.
those are the
I got
best movies.
all those in that one movie. I mean, I lost my face in that movie. I almost lost my job. But
Yeah.
the director was so great. A
Would you
guy named Peyton
say
Reed.
would you say
Mhm.
that you losing your teeth, would that does that alter the way you sing? Because
I
people
mean, yes, yes, it does. If I didn't get him fixed, do you know who Richie Havens is?
Richie
Richie
Havens.
Havens was one of those protest singers from the 60s. He was one of those Greenwich Village, New York folk guys, and he was so great. And you remember, Woodstock, the story of Woodstock, right? That huge rock concert that was put on in 1969,
Yeah.
perhaps, in New York. And this guy had no front teeth, and you can hear it when he sings because he got this weird sort of lispy thing. Listen to
Oh.
Richie Havens. Eventually, he got his teeth in, kind of ruined it.
Well, wow. And
Kind of
so,
ruined it.
it's when you're singing,
Mhm.
or when like, do they just come out? Do they just how
Hopefully,
expensive would
hopefully they don't fly out like that. There's a cement that's stronger. I think over time, for some reason, they've come out about 3 or 4 times since then. And what was that, 30 years ago? Oh my goodness. 30 years ago. One of these days, you're going to say something like that. You're going to be like, what? I was just 26. How could it be that I'm 50 something now?
I don't know.
Um,
Time is scaring me because I really feel like I walked into this radio station yesterday and it's almost been a decade.
and you were only 19 when you walked in there?
Yeah, and I was also 19 when I became the program director. I actually run the radio station now.
You were
So
19 when you became the program director?
yeah, I know.
Why did they throw that on you at 19?
Well, I guess I just did the job right.
You were rocking and rolling.
Uh-huh. I was
You
very innovative in the things that I decided to do, and I feel like I really shaped like because when I walked into the station and I first got here, people actually didn't really know outside that it was a radio station.
Oh,
And I actually put it back on the map, and now we're
oh,
recognized in so many different ways, and we've gotten so much traction. And
wow.
all I did was open up song requests. And
Oh,
are you interviewing me, or am I interviewing you? This is supposed to be about Andrew Paul Woodworth.
well, you know what we're doing? We're having a conversation, and that makes a good interview, in
I agree.
my
I
opinion.
agree. Yeah. So this So what it was that I
Opened up the
decided,
quest, right?
yeah, I what it was that I decided to do was I decided to open up the door for the listeners to tell me what they would want to hear if they were on the radio. You know, because everybody likes to aux cord, they like to DJ when they're on road trips and stuff like that. I'm like, what if you were to tune in? What would you want to hear? And in order
Mm-hmm.
to make people tune in, you have to make them feel listened to. You have to make the listeners feel listened to. Because if you're
100%.
playing stuff that people don't want to hear, they're not going to tune into your radio station. And that was the issue that happened is that all these radio stations, because we're no playlist radio station, which is the
Uh-huh.
only one that's left that can play whatever we want legally.
That's
With the
cool.
FCC, BMI, all those licenses, we have that. Other radio stations now have a set playlist that they are required to play, bought out by the record labels to push that music.
Huh.
Yeah, and so
You, so, and you also learn about who your audience is.
yeah, I do. I
What do
do.
what do young people listen to these days? Is there a most
Oh,
popular song right now?
I would say there are just so many different genres. As you know, I can't say that there's something everybody listens to. Every student that comes into my department is different and I adore it. I learn a new genre every day. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I never gave like indie folk a chance. People are listening to Hosier and Sabrina Carpenter and Chaperone, but because we replay our shows over the semesters, in a few years
Huh?
people may be tired of hearing that. So I like
Huh?
to play underdogs. That's my thing. I like to play musicians that deserve more credit. Now,
Mhm.
you're very modest when you come in here to talk to me, but that's why I play your music. You're so talented. You're
Yeah,
so
that's great.
talented. And, multiple DJs have actually been rocking out because, Amnesia is like such an amazing, it's so unique when it comes to sound.
Hmm.
And it makes me want to ask, what is the story behind Amnesia? What is that? Is that about the same girl?
It is.
Oh,
That was
see,
that was an Emma song. Yep.
I wanted to know
Uh,
if these all these songs correlate about the same girl.
no, no. I
I
mean,
feel
I've
bad
had,
asking you about it. Am I allowed to ask? I feel like I'm
of course.
intruding. It's because it's a painful topic. Let me know if I'm
No,
pushing.
no, you're fine asking me about it. That was a long time ago, and I write those songs to get me through it. I try to write, I try to make sense of the emotions that I'm having, and to send messages to the people who I want to hear them. Um, and it's just dialogues with yourself. I'm just trying to figure it out. I kept trying to understand what was going on with the end of that relationship and why I wasn't in it the way I should have been. Um, and
Would you say no, I don't know if I'm pushing my ask. Was it your part at the end of the relationship or was it her part to end the
it was
relationship?
me. Yeah, it was
It
me.
was you.
Yeah. And that was a theme of sort of all of my relationships. I would get in there and I would think that I found it, and then I would freak out and I'd run the other way.
So
And, and I
what
finally found someone I'm not doing that with.
this lucky lady, tell me about her. Is she
Her
your
name's
muse now? Do you write songs about her?
100%. I write about her. I write about my boys. I write about when you dispel of the poor itty bitty me guy,
Mm.
you start to write not only songs that I said before about love and gratitude, but about the world and about the bigger pictures of things. I think the responsibility becomes different. I feel like as an older man, not an old man, but I'm definitely older. I have a responsibility to people that are your age to send messages that are on the wiser end of things and on the kinder end of things. Um, Almost like I'm uncle to you guys in your generation.
That
Cool uncle.
that is actually that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that the older generation is taking care of us and teaching us what we don't know. I rely on you to help me with this stuff. I
Sure.
rely on everybody to help me. And some people they think that the young people we don't want to hear it, but we do. We're just not used to it.
A
People
good
take
point.
we need people that are like that. And you're just like, "Oh, well you're young, you wouldn't know." And I'm like, "Well then teach me. Teach me what I don't know." Stop telling me that I don't know and that I don't deserve to do this or that because I don't know because you haven't told me, so it's not my fault. You know?
Well, more than anything, you want to lead by example. No one wants to be preached at, correct?
For sure.
Especially a person. I remember being a very defiant younger man. I knew it all. These thoughts that I had were so original. Uh, Not all the time, but I certainly swam in that pool. And as someone who was that person, I do understand. I don't want to lecture anybody. My students, I get along with. I teach singing out of this garage.
Yeah, I was gonna ask your
Yeah.
you have a you teach music. I see you post about it online.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So what made you decide to go and to stop, I guess, making real recreational music and to teach music? What was your decision on
Well,
that?
fortunately, I do both. But you know what? As you get older, you don't want to be in a van and you don't want to tour anymore. I have two little kids in diapers. I don't want to leave them. I'm not going to. If Pearl Jam asked me to tour, I'd have to say no thanks. I don't
Well,
even I don't even want them going to daycare 3 days a week. It breaks my heart. I want them around all the time. I'm I
you
love
love those boys?
them. Huh?
You love those boys. Those are like
I love these. I kiss their heads and I tear up every day.
yeah, because you've always wanted kids, and you
Yeah,
talked about how like children are so innocent. Finally,
yeah,
being a father, that
yeah,
big moment where you like
yeah.
held your child, that must have
Oh,
been the moment.
it's interesting. That moment was not what I thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
It wasn't this, oh. In fact, I felt guilty a little bit that it wasn't that. It was, oh, shoot. Uh, what do I do now? Not that I was repulsed or anything. It didn't take long before a connection was made. I think mom may feel that right off the bat a little differently than dad, not every time. But for me, it was a slow burn of I think that the responsibility of it was the first smack in the face.
Hmm.
And of course, there was an attachment. I actually caught Lennox on his way out, and I didn't realize I was going to be doing that. But at this point, I can't get enough. In fact, I feel like I am at just the sappiest helicopter dad you've ever seen in your life. I've become a person I did not know I was. And as a result, I've become a better person. Uh,
That's wonderful to
there's a
hear.
song called Family Man on this Alma Mater album, and it's the first time I've ever cried recording a song. I had to stop. I had to collect myself. That's never happened in my life. And I've been in a lot of recording studios and sung about a lot of, personal things. But it was that it's funny that the happiness was what got me, isn't it? Isn't that the thing?
Yeah.
We can stew on our unhappiness all we want. And for a while, that's fine. You can learn a lot. You can make good art. You can feel really important because I know I did. But you've got to move through that and you have to evolve. Otherwise, come on, it's just boring.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
fortunately, I've done that. So I'm just a sappy lover at
No,
this
it's
point.
not sappy. It's touching.
Yeah,
It's touching. I love hearing this like really you gotta I hate podcasts, but I would listen to your podcast. Now
that's
I
cool.
say that rarely because podcasts annoy me because they're not real radio. As a radio host myself that's been doing this for years, everybody thinks that they can start a radio station, but they don't study it like I do. But
Right.
I would love to hear you talk.
That's sweet. What should my podcast be about?
Uh well, about your life. Now, I
Mm,
gotta ask, can I host you next week on this show one more time? Just one more time?
sure. Yeah.
Please let
Yeah.
me. Yes, the
Okay.
man behind the music. We haven't even gotten deep into like the you.
We'll go two-parter.
Yes, yes. I
Two-parter.
want to invite you on the show on Monday if you would like to come back to join us because
Monday,
what are you
Monday.
doing on Monday? Join us again.
Oh, can it be?
Your voice is so melodious. I love
Oh,
it.
stop it. Um,
I'm serious.
you know what? I could
What day
probably
works
do
for
it.
you?
I can do it after 1:30 for sure. Oh,
Yes.
no, I can't.
Okay, you are
Oh, no, I can't.
reserved.
Actually, no, I can't. I can't. I can do it at 2 o'clock.
Okay, 2 o'clock. Got it. And
You
because
want
you
to do
know what
that?
to expect, we don't need to do a pre interview. So we
Yeah.
got all that taken care of. I just love talking with you, and we got we got just a few minutes left. I don't know if this thing's gonna cut out, but I just gotta ask this
Yeah.
one thing that because every single question, just by letting you pour your heart out, which I love
Mhm.
to hear. I
Mhm.
really got to see the genius behind all of these things. You
Genius.
answered every question that I had. I just want to know, like, when, what age were you? There's three questions. What age were you when you started music? Did you get brought into this? Did you teach yourself? Did you go to college for it? You went to college. You told us you went to college.
I was in
For
college as an actor, as a theater major.
Did you want to be an actor? You could
Yeah,
still be in acting.
I was an actor. I was doing all that stuff. That's how I
Yeah,
started.
I googled you earlier. I saw your name in a lot of movies. Were
Mhm.
you in
I
those
did.
movies?
I was in Ernest Goes to Camp. I was in the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. I was
You
in,
didn't
yeah,
tell me that. You didn't
yeah,
say that. Like, you're
yeah.
so modest. I
No,
gotta talk to you again, man.
I did. I did that. I did soap operas. I did, it was musical theater, but I was 5 when my kindergarten teacher, they had one of those, parent come into the, school and they said, and I think she was a musician of some sort. She said, your son has got something and he's only 5. So just look out for it. They had me sing Oh Christmas Tree at this Christmas tree thing when I was in kindergarten. And when I was 10, I auditioned for Oliver, the musical Oliver,
Mm-hmm.
based on Oliver Twist, the little orphan.
Yeah.
I was 10 and I got the lead at this professional theater downtown.
Mm.
And that was pretty much that was that was my launching point for
Wow.
all of it. I was a very short kid. I was a good athlete, but I couldn't compete with those kids sports wise. Uh, and I became obsessed with being really, really great at singing and acting. And Michael Jackson was my guy.
Really,
Sang him
Michael Jackson? Oh, you're a Jackson
everything.
fan. You're what they're called
Huge,
moonwalkers.
huge. I'm a
Nice.
moonwalker. Now I'm disgusted by the human, uh,
Right.
but I'm amazed by his voice.
Yeah, he's talented.
But see,
Talented.
I related to his voice so much, I just couldn't relate to him. And then Pearl Jam comes along, and I'm like, oh, now I relate to the guy standing there. Michael Jackson was not relatable to me. Um, but Eddie Vedder was, because he was angry young, man, like I was at that time. At least like I was sort of pretending to.
Man, that's insane. I wouldn't have expected to be a Michael Jackson fan. But
Oh,
wait,
it made,
so
oh,
uh,
goodness.
did
You
when
should,
you
you
were
should
in
go listen to the Virgil cover of Billie Jean on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Are you a
please.
Michael Jackson fan?
I would say, yeah, I love Michael Jackson. Wait,
Off the
so
Wall. Off the
w-
Wall is the best album of all time.
though that is another question I would want to ask.
Yeah.
Before I ask the last question, what can we expect from Andrew Paul Woodworth next? What are you doing next? And where can we listen to your music? So we can support you because you're so awesome.
That's sweet. I'm on all the platforms, on Spotify and Apple and all those things. The newest album, which is Alma Mater, I recommend people listen to. It's a beautiful piece of work, and largely because Dirk Sullivan, who wrote these guitar compositions primarily first, he's just so good, and it really stretched me to write in a different way. And I think it's the kind of music it's important now because of what I talked about. There's an evolution of a human there, and someone who's giving messages that are a lot more what we need probably right now in this crazy, ridiculous political climate.
Wow,
Uh, it's
impactful.
a little more peaceful, I think. I think that's nice to have around. The good vibes, I think, are nice to have around. I think singing about your love for your kids it
Yeah.
can be a little bit sappy if it's done overwrought. Hopefully that's not the way I did it. I guess you can be the judge of that. So yeah, that's next for me. I'm probably going to, I've got, a bunch of private events that my band plays and I get paid well for those. That's great. I'm gonna I'm gonna have a birthday party for my 4-year-old next week. And
Oh.
I'm writing some children's songs to entertain these kids. So I'll be doing that. And then maybe I'll do a children's album. Who knows?
Well, I would love to listen to it. I'd play that for my kids. Yeah,
Okay.
for an
You have
assignment.
kids?
Huh?
You have kids?
No, no, I don't. I'm actually very. I'm focused on my career. Like, I
Good for
want
you.
to make sure that before I do anything like that, I have a house, I have
Okay.
a stable job, I have
Yep.
income, I can provide a good future for the child, and I don't want to make the same mistakes that my parents made because my parents are recovering addicts, and when they're my
Okay.
age, they weren't doing so well, but now they told me to not make those mistakes and to have everything, all of your things in a row before you make decisions like that. So
So
I'm
both
focusing.
both parents were addicts.
Yeah,
Wow. Now
I
let me ask you this.
know.
And more important than any of those things you mentioned is the partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in a relationship right now.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
The other stuff, if you have a great partner, you can have children in an apartment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna
You
say.
have a great partner, you do have to have stability's nice, but
Yeah, no,
let's
I agree.
over concerned about a lot of those physical. The
I gotta
partner,
trust the person that I'm with to take care of my kids, not leave me, abandon me, and to make sure that if I'm struggling financially, that they can pick up the slack.
yeah,
Someone that I would want my kids to be like one day. That's
yeah,
that's what I want in a partner.
someone you laugh a lot with.
Yeah, yeah, someone I can stand being with for the rest of my life. And it
Yeah,
took you a while to find that person, but I'm so happy that you
it did.
finally found.
It
Because
did.
I saw that post of the woman with long black hair. That was
Mhm.
your ex-wife, right? Ex-wife? Is that your wife?
Yeah. I can't remember which post that was. My wife currently has pretty long black hair. It's dark.
Whichever one it was, I did see it when I was researching because I know I gotta research you in order to answer these
Yeah.
questions, and I saw that one. So I don't know if that's, but she. I'm so happy that you found her. She looks like a very peaceful and loving and put together person. And
Oh,
you need someone to balance you out because you have all this pain and this
uh-huh.
energy, and
Right.
because like that one song, I Hate Music, I can tell that you have a
Mm.
resentment for music because it's something that
Oh,
you've done all your life and it's a part of you, but you hate it because you're not ever going to be as good as that guy, that guy, that guy. I'm not successful enough. People aren't buying my albums because they're not like popular, they're not hitting. And you got a
right.
resentment to it because it's something that's like it's a love-hate relationship. I know a lot of musicians who grew up with music have that issue. So someone that's just very level-headed and peaceful and nice must be a
Mhm.
very nice contrast for you.
Well, Catherine is very funny.
Is she?
Oh, yes. Wicked.
Wow.
There's no subject off limits with her.
Really?
Okay. And so that
That's what attracted you? Someone to
it's,
make
I
you
mean,
smile.
many things. Banter,
Mm, yeah,
how you talk, the
right.
the 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 quips, the energy,
Hmm.
that says a lot. And the banter is just off the chain.
Really?
Ridiculous things. I mean, there was a post I put up of us singing a jingle that we just randomly sang inside of a sports equipment store.
Yeah, you look like you have a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. It's fun.
Would
Fun
you say
is
that your life is fun these days?
yes.
Yeah.
Kids are hilarious. They are nude, running around this house, cracking up all the time. After bath time, it's get on our bed and they're jumping around. And it's just I just watch and I just hilarious to me. I
Oh
love it.
man, that must be so special to see them
I'm
become
a
grown
lucky man.
people.
I'm a lucky man. 100%.
God, rock performer to Family Guy is
Yep.
we love to see it. Tyler
Yep.
Joseph from 21 Pilots also had that. His music is your whole thing, but when you have a kid, changes everything, right?
Yes,
Now,
and if it doesn't, there's something wrong with you.
for real, really, actually.
Yeah, and
Um,
I get to play music and my kids still aren't on board with being there. It's a little loud and they don't like daddy up on stage. Maybe next summer they'll be ready for it because we do a
yeah.
lot of shows in the summer and they're fun, 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 fun.
Well, that's really impactful stuff. And
Yeah.
I just got one more question for you, and then I'm gonna let you go because I don't want us to get cut off in the middle of our conversation. But
Okay.
you are more than welcome to message me, and we can continue this conversation whenever you want. And we're gonna be
Well,
talking next week.
I'll be talking to you next week.
Yes.
Okay.
And so the question that I have for you is what would you, if you could say something to your fans that you've always wanted to say, or the world, because we got a lot of people listening right now to you
Mhm.
and what you have to say. What have you always wanted to say to them?
Hmm. Um, there are a lot of different kinds of people I'm dealing with, right? Is there a common thread here?
Well,
Um,
they're all young, but also, this video and all this stuff is going to go on YouTube. So it's also going to go on Spotify and it's going to be everywhere.
I wear something around my neck that I think is very, very valuable. And this is what I would say. Not only would I say first and foremost that I have love for all of people. I will start with loving people first and foremost. This helps me in life. And it says, if it's not fun, it's funny.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And so, uh, good, good gosh, like, all those people that, they're liking you because of a TV show, or like they like you because of Virgil and all these other things. Seeing the person that you are now, would you say that that dog tag you're wearing defines who you are as a person? Would you
Well,
say?
it's certainly aspirational. And what it means is don't sweat the small stuff. And most stuff is small stuff. Most stuff.
Wow. You know
Right?
what? I just love having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us on The Man Behind the Music.
Pleasure to
This
be.
was, it's, like I can hear DJs out there, they're very much enjoying this conversation just by
That's sweet.
second hand. They're not even, you know, you
That's
just,
hilarious.
it's very nice to have someone in on the show that you can actually feel like you'd have a nice conversation with. So I hope
Sure.
you guys check out Andrew Paul Woodworth, and we are live right now. And I guess the class next door is also tuning in as well. So,
Cool.
I'll
Go,
tell
clap.
John, I'll tell Arno that, you wanted to know. But closing
Um,
thoughts. Thank you again.
hey,
Find,
thank you a lot. Thank you
yeah,
for having me. I hope
yeah,
everyone has a great day.
yeah. And, everything you said is just very deep. I wasn't expecting it, I was very shocked hearing you
Is
speak.
that right?
Yeah, you're
I
just a
don't
really
expect
cool guy. And,
that.
I'm not gassing you up for no reason. I want you
Huh?
on the show. I wanted you on the show.
Well, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It's very sweet,
I
very
hope that I'm
touching.
not like, make you uncomfortable or anything like
Not uncomfortable at all. Not uncomfortable. I feel very comfortable.
that. Okay.
I feel like I'm
Well,
in a jacuzzi of love and warmth.
oh, well, I'm so happy to hear it. Well, again, thank you. And you can tune in on Spotify, like you said. I'm going to play the song that we were talking about after we end this call. It's Amnesia. And again, you can support him everywhere. Do you have merch with that they can buy?
I don't. I
You
don't
don't?
have. No.
Well, you got to do that next.
I think merch is so awkward. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Can you imagine having a shirt with your name on it?
Well, I mean, as somebody who, I have merch, but nobody really buys it. I'd say it's nice because people I can recognize my hard work pay off, and I can see somebody actually likes hearing what I have to say. And they're not just there's not a view that they looked and then they clicked past it. I
Hmm.
know that somebody actually is impacted by my words, and
Okay.
so
Maybe by
um,
next week I'll have, some tank tops.
hmm, tank tops, tank
Just
tops,
tank tops. Or maybe tube tops.
tank tops.
All right. You can either
Um,
get a tank or a tube.
Oh my gosh, you should put it on like the side of a beer can or something.
Okay.
Like I
Tank or
don't
a
know.
tube. Okay.
Anyway, I do have to end this call. Thank you so much for joining us. Do you have any closing words for the audience?
You know what, everybody? Just have a great day. Be kind to people. Smile. It's amazing what you can do when you just give someone a nice.
All right, that was The Man Behind the Music with Andrew Paul Woodworth. I hope that you enjoyed. This is Amnesia by Andrew Paul Woodworth. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Getting harder to remember. Oh, didn't get your stupid laugh. So this is getting weird. I bet go. What of this helpless, crazy talk? No, getting skinny, doing lots of drugs. 'Cause we've paid for our mistakes. No. never let it bleed. No, and I miss you, but I don't miss us. Can we start over? I wanna be new. If we could start over, I'd die into you. I promise to learn and to love what I give. If we could start over again, getting harder to remember. No, didn't get your stupid lip. So this is getting weird. I better go. Can we start over? I wanna be new. If we could start over, I'd die into you. I promise to learn and to love what you give. If we could start over again, can we start over? I can't see your face. If we could start over, I'd try to behave. I live in a house but without any doors. So can I come over to yours? Or react every yes is 1,000 no. That's tonight. Only one more to go. One more to go. One more to go.